Hi guys, I've been meaning to make this video for a while, like 2 weeks now. The reason I wanted to make it is because not like 2 weeks ago, me and my friend got in a huge fight, like to the point where neither of us thought we would be friends anymore. We made up, but it got me thinking about just the way people argue and a couple tips on how to argue healthily, which I mean, I'm not no professional, but I just know what's worked for me and how I've gotten over arguments. And these are at least a couple tips that I use when I get in fights. And the first and most important one is don't be afraid to admit when you got in fault, because if you're fighting with someone, obviously they're not the only one with a fault, because arguments are a two-way street. You can't argue without the other person, without both people being a part of it. They're two-sided. What I'm trying to say, like, it's just like everything in a relationship. Both sides have part in it. So if you're fighting, maybe yes, the other person did something wrong, but don't be afraid to say, I did something wrong too. And you can sit down and say, I see where I went wrong, but do you understand where you were? Second is, you don't necessarily have to say you're sorry first. Or honestly, and you don't have to say you're sorry at all. But this is not to say you don't have to admit you're wrong or any of that stuff. It's just the words, I'm sorry, because they're hollow and a lot of times they don't have meaning. And sometimes it's just not enough, because saying I'm sorry doesn't say you know what you did wrong. It's not going to make the other person happy. And just like, I got in a fight with a friend and I got really mad at them because I thought what they did and what they said was rude and unfair. And in the end, I know I overreacted, because I do at the beginning of a lot of fights. Things will bother me a lot and I will overreact and get angrier than I should have. But they'll also have done something wrong. And so we fought that night. But the next morning, I said, I understand where you are coming from, but you have to understand where I'm coming from. I had this issue with what you happened. And then I sent that. I didn't say, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. I just told them I understood. And I mean, I really understood. And then he said he understood too. And then we both said sorry after everything was over. The sorry was just kind of to be said. It wasn't what made up our friendship. And third thing, and this is really important in my opinion, is always sit there and try to think where the other person is coming from. It will calm you down a lot if you sit there and be like, well, okay, I'm really mad about this, but why are they upset at me? And you sit there and just think about it. Like, we got in a fight over canceled plans, basically. And I sit there and I'm mad, and I was like, why are they upset at me? And it was because I overreacted. I got angrier than I needed to. But then I sat there and I was like, but she wouldn't understand why it bothered me that she canceled the plans and then didn't say anything, other than these plans are canceled. There was no I'm sorry, or I'll make it up to you at some other time. It was just the plans were canceled, and she didn't understand why it upset me. And when I tried to explain it to her, she said, I understand where you're coming from, but you're still acting like a child. Then that's not understanding. You have to sit there and actually understand. You have to be like, okay, I can see why they're mad, and I will let them know. You don't say, I understand, but you're still being stupid. No, there's no buts. Or if you truly understand them, there is no buts or ifs. Just like if they truly understand you, they won't put any contingencies. The only but will be, but can you see why I'm upset? And it shouldn't be harsh. And when you aren't trying to make up, don't sit there, or not even trying to make up, but if you're trying to explain yourself, don't sit there and insult them in the middle of explaining. Like, don't be like, I understand, but this and this, or be like, I'm very upset because you were being a bitch. No, don't say that. That doesn't help. It's going to make things worse. Trust me, I know from personal experience. It just makes the situation worse. Don't do that. No. But, yeah, I think that is it, really, for my personal tips, the really big ones, because really, if you just sit there and try to understand the other person's point of view, even when you're really angry, and if you try to explain where you're coming from without overreacting, and you don't just say, I'm sorry, like it's a band-aid, you're trying to cover it. If you actually try to fix the problem, instead of just saying, I'm sorry, to let it fester, because if you fix the problem, it's not going to be a fight later on. Because saying, I'm sorry, leads to a second fight, because you never actually resolve the issues. Unless the I'm sorry follows an understanding. Because we thought about this, but we both talked about why it upset us, so it can't, get us upset again. But like I said, those things really are the big things. It bothered me, and I just realized how poor people are at fighting. I feel like you're never really taught how to fight with somebody and getting in verbal argument, because when you're little, if you're having a fight with a friend, you're not told to fight properly. You're told not to fight, because as a child, people try to convince you it's not healthy to fight with somebody. And to fight all the time, no, is not healthy, but to not fight is not healthy, because it means there are bottled up emotions that you're not admitting. Because a fight, or all a disagreement or an argument is you letting out what bothers you that someone else is doing. And that's fine, because that helps people grow and get along better with each other. If you sit there and you don't tell them what's bothering you, or you don't let it out, then you're gonna hurt yourself. And I know, again, from personal experience, that you don't not say anything. Arguments are okay, and they are healthy as long as you argue right and you don't do it excessively. So that's why I'm saying this, because I feel like people need to be taught how to argue, and people aren't taught how to argue. Because I remember me and my brothers used to get in huge fights, and then my mom would stop us in the middle of the fight. She'd be like, stop. And I would actually get angrier because it festered, because I wouldn't be able to get everything I needed to say out. She didn't tell me, there's a specific way to fight. She didn't tell me that, you fight like this and, makes things better. She just said, don't fight. And I feel like, hopefully, as an adult with kids, I'll tell them it's okay to fight, and this is how you do fight, type thing, But that's all I wanted to say. Have a great evening, or day, or whatever time you're watching this. I will talk to you next time. Click subscribe and like, please, if you like this video. I really hope you do too. But leave a comment if you have a issue with anything I've said, or if you have something to add. Please, it really would make me feel good about myself, or bad, whatever. But again, have a great day. Bye.